The real reason you hired a consultant is to just say it. And let us just be real about that. I am sitting in a boardroom, and across me is the procurement guy, and the leader walks in and says, "Oh, so is this the new consultant guy?" And every time I hear that, I am keen, but then my antenna for BS goes up, and I'm thinking, okay, there is a history to this, or there's something that, So he says, "Oh, what happened to the last report that was written by the last set of consultants?" Then immediately I know what went down, because those consultant reports are read only once, one time, when the boardroom asks for why did we do something, or what prompted this, and that report comes out and say, "Oh, the consultant report says that we should have done this, that, or the other." So every time that, especially my 10 to 100 to 200 million CEOs and founders, every time you're thinking about hiring a consultant, I want you to ask yourself a question. Are they going to tell me something that I already know and I just can't articulate, or I'm afraid to say? Or are they going to come in and actually help me to not just see what I can't see, but give me the ability to be able to execute on the things that I need to execute on? Every time that I have known, let me just give you a great example about this industry, okay? The most quoted figure in this industry is that 70% of all transformations fail. And this figure is actually on the McKinsey website, that 70% of all transformations fail. Now, they say that on their website, but guess what? The industry is growing by the bounds every year. So if 70% fail, why the hell is it growing? Because if it was about results, then it would not be growing. Because that means they were failing. If it is failing, why would anybody still be investing? It's because it's never about the results. And I want you to sit with that for a minute. Because if the category leader, the McKinsey guys, are saying 70% fails, and the industry is growing, 120 to 280 billion dollar industry per year, something is not right. And again, as a person in the industry, I probably should know better, but then I'm not in the business to be liked. I'm in the business to be effective. Enron. You guys remember Enron? The model was perfect. In fact, the guy, I think Jeff Skilling, yeah, this guy was a McKinsey partner before, and he created Enron, and it was flooded with consultants. In fact, they had turned it into a pipeline of projects. They at one time had almost 20 projects running through Enron, and it just, boom, fell apart and disappeared. Overnight, gone. But this is the point. Was there a report at the end of it? Yes. Do you know what actually happened? Risk walked in and Risk stayed in, and the consultants walked away. And those who had gotten paid got paid. Those who didn't get paid, didn't matter. Was it the product? Was the product results? Or was it a voice? Or was it looking for somebody who would say something that they were not willing to say? Let's look at another example. The national NHS, the British NHS, National Health Service. £37 billion were spent on the NHS test and trace project. At one time, they had over 2,500 consultants working on this particular issue. They were spending almost $6,600 per day on the NHS test and trace project. And at the end of it, guess what? In fact, the parliamentary committee actually said that the spend on this consultancy project was unimaginable. At the end of it, was a report written? Yes. Did they actually get a result from the trace and find? No. The consultants walked away paid. The report was written. There was no result. Just think about that. Now, why is this important to you? Why is this important to the people that I work with? You run a business somewhere between 10 to 200 million, and something is not working, and you know it's not working, and you're about to spend a six-figure amount to get a young 26-year-old with a laptop to come in and tell you exactly what you need to do, or to come in and tell you exactly what you already know and believe. And if that is the case and you believe that, what they're going to tell you, will you act on it or not? Because if you already know, you should be acting on it. If not, why the hell are you going to spend that money? The consultant, going back to where we started, the consultant you're hiring, are they being hired to help you to facilitate a result, or to be the camouflage of the report has got a name and a logo, so you walk into the boardroom with this paper so that it does not have a face to it, and you can clearly just point at it and say the consultant did that. And if that's the case, you might just want to revise it. Most important, you might just want to go back and sit down and say, okay, why am I actually getting this consultant in? And if what they're going to tell me I can do, write it down, get the courage, get up tomorrow, Monday morning, Tuesday, wherever, and just go say it. Because nothing amazing was ever achieved without grit, without courage. And if you are looking for somebody to show you, to be by your side in execution, in operations, somebody who's going to be in the office with you up to midnight, somebody who's going to be on the shop floor with you, then you should consider an operational consultant. But other than that, if no report on earth will be able to get you to do something that you are already not doing, then it doesn't matter if the report comes or not. So you might as well just say, you know what? I am uncomfortable with this, but that is why I'm the leader, and that is why I'm going to do what I have to do. Because in most founder-led businesses, the bottleneck, where it all converges, is the owner, is a CEO. And you got to get yourself out of it. Now, I know everybody's talking about CEO is the bottleneck, but guess what? No one outside the firm will ever put that on a slide, because it might hurt their business, because your ego might be bruised. But clients don't give a damn. They want a result. The client never gets diagnosed. The client just wants results. So I'm not going against the industry. No, because I'm part of it. I'm just against buying them as insurance for your shortcomings. Use an outsider to see what you cannot see. Never to say what you will not say. If you really must get one, get an operator. Get a consultant who has been in the room. Get a consultant who has actually been in the room with those high-stake decisions. Get a consultant who understands psychology and human behavior. Get a consultant who is going to tell you things that you don't want to hear. Get a consultant who's got some kahunas to kick your butt when it's necessary. That's right, I said it. And as you do that, you will realize that there's very few good ones. And those who are, they're amazing. And there's plenty of them. So as you go about your day to day, thinking about what decisions you need to make and thinking about whether you need a 26-year-old with a 100-deck presentation to tell you what's wrong with your company, I want you to remember that you and I have the audacity to not just create great companies, but to bring other people with us as we make this happen so that we can leave this world in a better place than we found it. There is below this video a small link, short link, that you could use to find out your leadership friction so that you can know exactly where you're stuck and what is preventing your team from going to the next level. If you want to do that, there's a link below. Click it, go and do what you have to do, put in your details, make the payment, get your results, and get rocking and rolling. Because treatment without diagnosis is malpractice. You cannot prescribe something for somebody if you don't know what the problem is, and the leadership friction gives you that. Until next time, peace.